Fishing is fun, but hooking is the only way. We're gonna show you how to catch some fish today.
So this is fall time crappie fishing. This is the third episode where I'm going to show you your equipment. I did do an episode 1, which is your electronics, episode 2, which is locating the fish and actually catching them, 3 I just told you, and 4 is cleaning and cooking. And I think the 4th one, I've been in the restaurant business for a long time, and I can show you how to cook them.
You can go to our link, go to the description box, and you can click on it and see everything that I'm using. And you watch these shows, would you please like and subscribe? And when you subscribe, it doesn't cost you anything. It just lets you know what else I'm coming on every week.
For crappie fishing, my first options are actually the rod. You want something fairly light and probably around 6 to 7 foot in length. I use like a 1,000 size reel. You don't want one real big and heavy. And basically there's all kinds of rods on the market. You can use an ultralight. I prefer to use a high modulus rod so I could get the feel, because sometimes you can't even feel them fish bite. Rod choices for crappie. This is my favorite. This is actually, I like to use rods that are like 6 to 7 foot in length. You want to use a reel that will accommodate a light rod, so you want to use something like in 1,000 series. This particular rod here is one of my favorite ones. You can see the tip, it's very fast, so only the top of the rod bends. This one, the fast taper rods will have a lot more feel to it, so it's more sensitive, but also the fish could feel you also. My other choice would be something that's a little slower, like this particular rod. So you watch the bend, see how it bends all the way in the rod, so it just doesn't bend on the top. So these are more forgiving, so you're not going to lose as many fish and miss as many with this rod. Now I'm going to show you guys the tackle and what I'm using for crappie fishing. I think one of the most important is your line choice. So I prefer to use 4-pound test, and I use fluorocarbon. There's a difference between mono and fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon is a little stiffer, but it's more sensitive and fish can't see it. Jig choices. I use anywhere from 1/32 to 1/8, depending on current, tides, and depth. And that's your choice on the jig heads. I usually use round heads. Once in a while I'll try fish ones, but most of the time round heads. Another important thing is to put a niblet on that jig. Most of the time you will see me not using it, but a lot of people need this little help right here. And it will help you catch crappie. It makes them hold the bait a little bit longer. I'm going to show you a trick with this jig head. I take a pair of pliers and I just keep bending, and you keep bending it back and forth till you feel it get really weak. Now when I throw it in the tree and I get a little snag, I can just pull, and 90% of the time this hook's going to come back bent like this. I just bend it back, because those crappie don't fight really hard in the winter, so that hook, by bending it, will not hurt anything. Another key thing is to be able to put this little plastic on this jig head straight. So I'm going to stick it to the top, and you want to try to get it as straight as you can, and they come out the back. And then when you put it on, you're going to notice that it's straight. It's not crooked, it's not coming out the side, it's actually straight. They make different kind of jigs. I prefer this straight tail. Then you have this little fork tail, which I just use when they're just biting like crazy, because it doesn't work, it's not as effective as the paddle tail. This paddle tail or that straight one are my go-to lures. You're going to see I have different kinds. I have the Kitech, I have Big Bite, I have Garland. These are all excellent crappie jigs. You're going to see these two are probably my favorite choices, and they both got straight. And the Kitech has a little kicker tail, but just make sure that you put these baits on straight so that you'll get the best action. Color choices. There's a spectrum of colors. When you go over and look at these things on the rack, you're going to see probably 30 colors. And how you pick your colors is water clarity. Clearer the water, the clearer the color, the more translucent bait. The darker the color, the darker the water you're fishing. And a lot of times I'll go up to a spot and I'll use one color, catch 5 fish, and then they quit biting, change color. Because you'll catch like 3 or 4, change colors again. I keep rotating around till I get my limit.
So I hope you guys watched series 1 and 2, which I showed you how to locate them in trees and grass or weeds. And then my next one coming up, which would be series 4, is going to be on cleaning cooking, where I take you in my kitchen and show you all the ingredients that I use to cook these crappie. I want to thank you guys for watching. I would like you to click like and subscribe. Subscribe doesn't cost you anything, and it would help benefit my channel because I need to get it going.
Fishing is fun, but hooking is the only way. We're gonna show you how to catch some fish today.